All right. We are live. I'm not sure who all is joining in, but I am boiling some water for some tea. So I may take a brief break, like a little 3-minute break while we let everyone else kind of roll in, or anyone who's going to be available roll in. And if no one is on screen wanting to ask questions by the time I get back, I will simply start to pull cards for the general collective. Let me see. We have a person here, but I don't know if it's just me. So if someone is here watching, feel free to type in the comments. And I'm going to get some hot water for my tea going and come back and pull some cards. So I will be right back. Looks like we lost whoever was in the room. Welcome. And let's see. Do I need to look at any? I hope this is just for members. I definitely have this set to only be people that have the link. So whoever's popping in will hopefully be a part of the Patreon. And we're going to make sure that I don't have anyone that I'm missing that has bought a ticket. No, we're good. All right. I am going to grab my water for my tea and I will be right back. And if you're watching this in the replay, you can skip ahead. All right. It just occurred to me. It just occurred to me that my microphone was plugged in and I was not sure if that was picking up the sound. So hopefully, if it wasn't, it is now the sound on my computer and we'll get things moving that way. So, welcome to the post-Cancer full moon live readings. I'm trying this option out because it is something that streams, I believe, right into your Patreon desktop. And I thought it'd be a good way to try and keep all things contained into one little arena. So we'll try this out today or for a couple months maybe and see how everyone likes it. I do like that it's going to be relatively easy, I think, to post the replay for this. So yeah, there's pros and cons. I do like seeing your lovely faces, but I also know that I feel more centered in the energy whenever I don't have any distractions going on. So hopefully, especially this general reading will be very focused in, and I'm going to just take a moment to have you watch, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching on the replay, to just sit down and take a little deep breath and let it go and shake off anything that needs to be shook off and just focus in on the current present moment energy. And we are going to dive in with a Total Betty Goddess card. So I do have one card that is up on my mirror. That's my card for 2023 that will not be joining us, but I will trust that there's another card in the deck that has a similar energy if we need that energy for our goddesses. So let's do a post-Cancer full moon. I'm picking the general topic of love and creativity since that's what came up in our Cancer full moon reading. So we're just going to see who comes up. We had Venus for when we did the other reading, and we have someone just jumped out. So who let, ooh, we have Bastet, played by Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman in Batman Returns. All right, so this one is bringing us more from that Venus love the world around you and see love everywhere energy into self-pleasure. So this is definitely this post full moon energy is going from a place of that sense of community and trying to love the world and still keeping that in, practice, but also really making sure that we're prioritizing our self pleasure and self-care in general. And I definitely am feeling that in my own energy. There's a lot of stuff on the docket. If you don't already know, I think everyone on this level knows, but I might open this up to all levels for the replay. I have the Rainbow Witch Academy that is starting the official start of the first class this week. And I've got a couple things that I'm like trying to wrap up and finalize there. And I've got a couple writing projects in the back of my brain that I want to work on. And honestly, this weekend has just been all about needing to take care of myself. Um, without getting too far into it, I'm still in mourning and I have to honor that some days and, not necessarily have to push myself further than I need to go and recognize that everything's going to go out in the time that it's supposed to. So yeah, if you're feeling that in this post full moon energy, know that you're not alone and know that it's totally okay and you have permission to have some time for your own self-care and to prioritize your pleasure. And honestly, the great thing about that is when we really do self-care properly, when you're on the verge of burnout and you need to have sort of like some time for yourself, if you authentically and fully take that time for like a day, and don't, like, stress out or feel guilty or, like, have yourself distracted from taking care of yourself. Usually, that's kind of enough to reset. Not always, but, like, it does. It makes you feel like I took yesterday to just kind of feel my feelings and not push myself and to do whatever I needed to do to feel better and more in alignment. And that was enough for me to wake up today and feel more refreshed and more ready to take on some tasks. So while it may feel like you're wasting the time by giving yourself that day, in the long run, you're wasting less time because if you were to not fully allow yourself the permission to have that restorative time, then you're just going to be like half restoring yourself and not quite feeling better. And it's just going to drag out longer. So prioritize your pleasure. A great thing that I like to talk about when this card comes up is Tantra and the idea behind Tantra that it's not just about sex, it's about finding sensual pleasure in all aspects that involve your senses. And that includes, when you're eating foods, like really tasting, like feeling the sensations on your tongue and like letting every aspect of your life be in some way orgasmic. So, we're going to keep that in mind as we dive into our love and creativity reading. And we're going to see what comes up. So, shuffle up my Moon Void Tarot, which Zoe helps with the reading. And we're going to see what comes out for love and creativity. And I think I'm going to do like a full extended readed variation card spread. So, we're going to do like the 10 cards of past, present, future, and just see what we're diving in here. Because I'm feeling like our reading for the full moon was more about that love and community. And now we're going to dive more into like the self care, the self pleasure, and the creativity aspect of things. So let's see if anybody wants to jump out. I'll stop at the jump. Otherwise, I'll do. Oh, all right. We'll stop at the jump. We're going to take this as our first card, which is the 5 of Wands. So that's recent past. I'm going to do the underneath the deck. Ooh, underneath the deck, we have the Black Diamond, which is one of the special cards for this deck. So I actually don't have the guidebook for this deck. I plan on purchasing it soon, but because it's a digital copy. But I take the Black Diamond as a protection card of protecting your energy, which makes sense because if we are prioritizing your pleasure, we are putting our own energy protection and energy alignment first. And so we're allowing for that to to kind of hermit away a little bit the outside world, or at the very least, like forget about what everyone else needs right now. And that's how you're protecting your energy. I'm going to do another underneath so that we have a little more tarot clarity. Oh, this is one of my Zoe cards. The Knight of Wands is our other card. So this is definitely it's a pleasure card because the wands are pleasure. So far we have one card that's not a traditional tarot card, and then we have two wands cards. So this is definitely about pleasure and creativity and passion. The Knight of Wands is just like really allowing yourself to reach for that passion unapologetically. And also, cats are very protective and cleansing of energy, and especially with this being a black and white cat, it's the best of the cleansing of energy and calling in healing. And so that's kind of what we're dealing with here is we are protecting our energy from the outside world and from the needs of others so that we can heal. And so in the recent past, the 5 of Wands is indicating that we might have felt a little bit of competition or insecurity in the outside world. We might have been comparing ourselves to a lot of people in the recent past, and that's been kind of affecting the way that our energy is feeling. Recent past, we also have the strength card, which is saying that we have found that ability to kind of create some boundaries, which is great. And then we also have the hermit card, which makes total sense because I just mentioned the hermit, which is hermiting ourselves away and separating our own energy from the outside world. This feels like this reading is definitely, oh, it's definitely an energy shift because there come the yawns. I'm going to take a drink of water to try and head those off. But it's definitely a reformed people pleaser reading that's coming forward today. So the love and creativity, the self-love, which is what I'm going to start transforming the title of this to, the self-love and creativity that we're doing here is coming from a place of letting go of the need to feel like we need to take care of the world and that we are in charge of other people's emotions because we are not. Oh my God, so many yawns coming through. I may have to take the hat off. I think that makes things a little more sleepy. Um, yeah, so let's see what the current present underneath this reading is bringing in for us. The Sun card. I love it. It's another card that Zoe sends me as a little message. Ah, the 9 of Pentacles and the 4 of Swords. This reading is just playing out exactly like it should. Like I couldn't have picked better cards. So the Sun card is allowing ourselves to absorb the blessings. It's also in recent months. There could be odds again. In recent months, it's become a card for me that's like just slowing down and sitting for a little bit. One of the practices that I've been doing since Zoe passes, I'll sit in the chair that I'm currently in, and in the mid-afternoon time period, like late morning, early afternoon, the sun casts really beautiful little patterns across my wall, and it'll hit rainbow catchers, and it'll hit my mirror, and there'll be like little rainbows that cast around. And light and rainbows are one of the ways that I do communicate with Zoe, and she lets me know that she's around. And so the sun card has kind of come to represent taking that time to just sit and look at the pretty colors on the wall. And so that kind of echoes our 4 of Swords, which is about kind of going within and meditating and oh my goodness. And making sure that the outside world is not as threatening to us as it might seem. And then the icing on the cake here is this 9 of Pentacles. Because if this is a reading about being a reformed people pleaser and prioritizing our own pleasure, the 9 of Pentacles is the absolute best card to embody the establishment of that habit. Because the 9 of Pentacles is it's it's such a badass like single. I mean, even if you're not single, like it's very much a woman taking care of herself type energy and a woman of her own energy. And it's basically that feeling of I can take care of myself financially, energetically, physically, and I have everything that I need and I've earned that. Like it's a very, very boss bitch card. Um, and I think that that is exactly what we need. It feels like the first step in this present energy is that sun card, that like slowing down, sitting back, watching the sun creep across the walls, taking in the pretty colors, really trying to get rid of these yawns, guys. Um, and then that is going to be what brings in the creative inspiration that we need. And that's gonna make us feel very complete and very whole and very boss bitch energy. It's gonna give us that 9 of Pentacles, like I can't even think of a good metaphor. Like this is a woman who can buy herself this is Ariana Grande 5 rings. This is like I see it, I want it, I like it, I got it. Like it's and I paid for it myself. Like, "Do you like my hair? I paid for it myself." Like, I'm probably getting those lyrics slightly wrong because I haven't it's not the song's not currently, like, fully in my head, but that's what this energy is. It's like, I got this. I'm taking care of myself." And I think that that's both financially and also energetically, because the whole point of this reading is allowing yourself to have those boundaries and disconnect from other people's needs. And so this is like, I take care of my needs, and also, because I take care of my needs, I can now expect the outside world to be able to take care of their needs because I do it for myself. So why wouldn't you be able to do it for yourself? So it's not my job to take care of you. That's what's coming through here. But then, because that energy is so attractive, that energy of being like, oh, this woman has her shit together, that is gonna draw in some neediness from the outside world. So those boundaries are still gonna be important. It's not like we're like, "Oh, I recognize that other people can take care of their needs and now no one's bothering me." It's like, "No, I recognize other people should be taking care of their needs, but that's not happening with some individuals, and because I'm such a light, such a beacon, they're being drawn." It's like moths to a flame. They're like, "Ooh, she's got what I want. Like, let me glom onto that energy." And that's why the 4 of Swords is coming in to be like, "Restore yourself. Get away from the threatening energy of the outside world." And I use the term threatening loosely. It's not like it's like a huge life threat, but the energetic threat of other people being energy vampires or wanting to like have a piece of you, and reset as often as you need to. And baths are a really great way. Like, the reason the artist put a bath on this is because a bath is a really cleansing way, or a really good way to cleanse your energy. But even just metaphorically, this is just like coming home at the end of the day after knowing you take care of yourself and expecting other people to take care of themselves, but still encountering people that are a little too needy, and letting all that go and not carrying that energy around with you. So, whatever your cleansing practice is, this is really important for those of you that are involved in the level 1 Become Your Own Healer. That chakra cleanse is going to be a really paramount for this. And I think that might be why this is coming forward for the Patreon, because so many of you are participating. And so, this is definitely about like cleansing your own energy, taking care of your own energy, but then also recognizing that that's going to make you, I don't want to say target because that feels a little too threatening, but it's going to make you be more noticeable for those who are in need of healing. And then knowing how to cleanse off that needy energy at the end of the day, which is one of the content things that I'm working on in the next couple days as my energy allows, is just some additional tips on how to protect your energy and ground yourself throughout the day as a person that shines a light that people are attracted to. So, moving into the future, let me take a sip of tea again because I'm going to yawn. I don't know what's with these yawns, guys. They literally just start when I do these readings. Um, Again, big energy shifts. The future. Queen of Pentacles. So we're taking that badass Nine of Pentacles energy and we're taking it into the royal court. We're taking it to the next level. This is the Nine of Pentacles on her best day and sustaining that energy. Like, this is very much, I take care of my own energy and then taking it to the next level. I now take care of my energy so much that I can take care of other people's energies when I deem the situation appropriate. Because the Queen of Pentacles is a very maternal energy and very caretaking, but we can't get there until we learn these boundaries in the present. Like, we can't take ourselves into Queen of Pentacles energy wanting to take care of the world unless we know where to draw the line. And so that's what this process is teaching us. And I think that's a beautiful way to move forward from our previous energy on the full moon, because it was about trying to love the world. And so this is kind of taking a step back after we've started to open that door and be like, yes, we have to love the world. We have to despecialize our special relationships and love the strangers on the street. But we also have to have good enough boundaries that feeling like we're loving the world doesn't mean that we feel like we have to save the whole world. And this is a really relevant topic for me because I've started looking at shelters for a kitten rescue, and it's really hard not to want to rescue every other profile that I read. Like I'm waiting for the one that feels like my cat, but I also want to rescue all the other ones. And that's what this feels like. So it feels like that feeling of wanting to take all the pets in the shelter home with you, but knowing that that's not feasible and having to have that boundary and have that discernment and trust your intuition to guide you to where it's an appropriate time to help someone and to mother someone, and when it's not appropriate or not within your energy capacity at that time. So moving on, we have the 7 of Wands. Again, more Wands cards. And this honestly is taking something that I said in the present energy about making us a lighthouse and making it even more literal, because in the Wild Unknown deck, this card is literally like one of the sticks sitting straight up with like a flame and all the other sticks falling to the slide. So it's like it is that you are being noticed for your light. And that's going to draw in really good opportunities, and it's also going to draw in some funky energy that you need to know how to create a boundary for. And that doesn't mean that you need to be scared of this energy. And this is so perfect because I am going to find the motivation to talk about the content that's going into the class after this. Like I'll probably sit down and write a script right after this, because it really is about not being afraid of the outside energy, because fear is going to invite more of that in. But knowing how to establish those boundaries, both with your words and with your energy. So our final card is the Two of Swords. We're not going to let that stand though, so it's not going to be the final card. The Two of Swords is a feeling of feeling like you're trapped between a rock and a hard place, or that there's not, you have two choices and you don't really like either one of the choices. Um, and I feel like the cards that I'm going to pull after this, I'm going to make a little psychic prediction, are going to be about patience and waiting for the right timing and not rushing ahead. Again, I come back to the example of wanting to save all the cats in the shelter, or wanting to save all the pets in the shelter. Part of the reason that I'm recognizing in myself that that's happening is because I'm not quite ready to discern what's my cat and what I'm supposed to leave for other people. Or one of the practices that I've been doing is I've been sending some distance Reiki to some of the cats that I feel particularly drawn to. And that's my way of kind of having, like, still having that boundary and not taking all the pets home, but also still helping, but respecting my boundaries while I'm helping. Point being is that this Two of Swords feels like the reason that neither of our choices feel good. So if I use the example of the cats, like I want a cat that feels like it's for sure mine. Like I've asked the universe to give me a very clear sign when my next cat shows up, which may or may not be Zoe reincarnated. We're holding space for that. But I want a clear sign that this is my person, my pet. Um, and then also the feeling of even like fostering a cat that's not my cat, or trying to take home all of the pets. Like neither of those feel right yet. And it's because I'm still healing. And that's that, prioritizing my pleasure and prioritizing my healing. And then the Two of Swords is like, okay, neither of the choices feel great, but maybe that doesn't mean that they're not going to. It's the, like, you feel kind of stuck because you're supposed to just be patient. So we're going to see what if the cards support what I just said. So the 10 of Swords is indicating that there is one of these choices that's not going to feel right. It's going to feel like too much if we're patient with things, like taking them a whole shelter full of cats. That's too much. The Page of Swords indicates that we are learning discernment, and that we are learning to recognize what energies we want in our life and what energies we don't. And then the Five of Pentacles is patience. It's the one that's telling us, hey, chill out for a bit, hang out in the cobwebs, um, because it's just not, you don't have enough information to fully move forward yet. So, to summarize this, because there was a lot of different stuff going on, the core of everything is prioritizing our own pleasure and prioritizing our own energy protection and healing. That is also going to try and bring us more into the present moment to enjoy the day to day, enjoy the light on the wall, and enjoy the time that we can have to restore ourselves and regroup and bathe off any excess energy and really own our own power. And then that, of course, is going to create a brighter light so that we're going to have even firmer boundaries because more people are going to be attracted to us. And then we're going to move into this energy in the near future where that bright light's going to attract some opportunities to us. And at first, neither one of them is going to feel really great. And I think that's going to be because of the energy expenditure for both of them. I think that both options that are coming forward in love or creativity or whatever opportunity is being handed to us because of this bright light that we've established in ourselves, they're both going to feel like a lot of energy in different ways. So the key here is to keep reinforcing those boundaries while you're awaiting this decision, because that's going to help you figure out which one feels right. The reason that neither one of the choices feel right is because you're still working on the proper boundaries for them. And when you have the proper boundaries in place, one of them is going to feel like a clear winner because one of them is going to be this 10 of swords. Like, this is clearly too much energy. This feel again, I keep coming back to that metaphor. It does. This is taking home a whole shelter full of cats where in theory, in the moment when you're trying to love the world and you're trying to heal the world and you want to save the world and you don't have good boundaries, that sounds like a great idea because you're going to save a lot of lives and you're going to heal a lot of beings. But in the long run, that is absolutely too much energy expenditure and absolutely not saving any energy for yourself. Whereas coming to that place of discernment and patience, of waiting for the right opportunity to reveal itself naturally through your ability to have the right boundaries in place, then there's going to be a path that clearly seems like it's clear. And again, if I come one more time back to my metaphor, I don't mean to harp. I'm very happy with the way that my healing journey is going as far as like this whole process goes. And some of you I've had actual conversations with about it. But the whole point of this is like, if I use my situation as an example, even the idea of bringing home a singular cat right now, though it feels good because I do miss having a feline companion around, it doesn't feel like the right timing because I'm still healing. I'm still establishing what I want. I'm still establishing the boundaries around what I want. And when I do that and the timing, the patience comes into play, when the timing is right, that's suddenly going to, all the burden on that is going to lift because of everything that's fallen into place along the way. And that's going to feel really rewarding at the end of the day. And it's actually going to restore my energy. That's what this is. Again, I come back to the point that I said that cats are energy cleansers and healers in and of themselves. And like part of like, I mean, I want a cat in my life just because I'm a cat person and I've actually, this is the first time in my life that I've never not had a pet. And so it's a very strange experience for me, which is part of what this whole process is about. It's about healing and like recognizing how to create different boundaries around my life and not be quite as codependent around my feline companions. But it's also about recognizing the fact that like when I'm ready for it and a cat does surface in my life that's clearly the right one, that's going to be a healer and an energy cleanser in and of itself. So it's going to actually make me feel better than I did before making the decision. And so that's when you're going to know the difference between these two swords. Is it's going to become very clear through your boundaries and through your healing and through your prioritizing your own pleasure that one option is going to absolutely exhaust your energy and the other option is going to heal you and cleanse your energy. But it's all about the right timing. That was beautiful. I know. I mean, clearly it resonated for me. It's exactly what I needed to hear. Again, this is Zoe's deck, so she definitely influenced the reading a lot. But I trust that whatever it is that unfolded here is also something that you all needed to hear. Again, I don't know. We'll see how this goes as far as what posting this on Patreon is going to look like. But I may open up this reading for the full member collective. And then please let me know in the comments beneath this post whether you like this format or not. Again, if anybody had showed up, we would at this point roll into the questions and answers from the chat. But I know that I posted this kind of last minute, even though I did some like precursor posts saying that it was going to be happening at this time. Again, yesterday was just kind of a very much self-care day. And so I was a little behind on the promotion, which is fine because this is a nice little trial. But if you like this format, if you like the idea of not having to be on camera and just being able to type in your questions, sometimes it's kind of nice. And I mean, I love hearing all your stories, but like I know that sometimes it's nice to kind of just roll into an event and not have to be camera ready, and still get that sense of community and still get that sense of reading. And again, the best part for me about this format is that while I so enjoy interacting with you face to face, I do feel much more centered in the reading, when it's just me watching myself on camera and focusing on the cards rather than on the other stuff that's happening in the Zoom. Yeah, thank you all for being such an amazing part of this community. Again, I did a post earlier today that was about asking your preferred name that you want credited because I am going to start at the end of my YouTube videos putting a little Patreon thank you in place of my where I normally put the cards used. Just because I've seen other YouTubers do that and I thought that was a really good idea. I do want to like publicly put it out there that you guys are really important to me and I really appreciate your support. If anything, because this is a great continued practice for me to be doing readings on a regular basis for all of you. So thank you for watching. And I hope that I hope this energy serves you. Let me know if you have any stories to share. But otherwise, I will see you in our next reading, and I'll be doing tomorrow's weekly riffs either tonight or tomorrow morning. So I look forward to seeing what else the cards have in store for us for the week ahead.